In this lesson, I want to switch gears and talk for one lesson about something called a lens flare and talk about the irony of it all. And by that I mean when I grew up with traditional film, before Photoshop, I did everything I could to stamp out lens flares because they were mistakes. And now that I've gotten Photoshop, I will have the tendency occasionally to put a lens flare on something, and I find that ironic. Now, there are two ways you can do it. I'm going to show you both ways in this one lesson. One way's permanent, one way you got control. So let's start by saying I want a lens flare. You go up to the word filter on the pull-down menu and go down to render. And, well, there it is, lens flare. Now, you get 4 different types. You got 1 zoom and 3 primes. 50 to 300, 35, 105, and a movie prime, which is kind of interesting right here. We can change the brightness. We can move it around. We can select a different one down here. We like it, we click OK. It looks like a lens flare. The problem is I can't move it. There is no control over that lens flare. So I want to give you a controllable, movable lens flare. It's very easy. Let's do undo first. My favorite key in the whole world is undo. Create a new layer. Press the letter D, as in David, on your keyboard, which will give you your default colors of black and white. Now, to fill a layer with the current foreground color, if you're on a Mac, hold down the Option key and press the Delete key. If you're on Windows, hold down the Alt key and press the Backspace key. They are the same keys, just different names. So we got it black. Change the blending mode to screen. Now, what does that do? I mean, why does it go away? If the color in this layer is the same or darker than the colors in the other layer, it gets removed and it's replaced by this one. That's why they're all gone. And that's exactly what I want. Go back to layer 1, make sure you have it selected. Go up to the word filter and go down to render. Pick lens flare. Now, choose what you want. So I think this time I'm going to go 35 prime here. And we can change it around. Change the brightness. That's a bit much. I think I'm going to lower that brightness down some. Okay, say I put it right about there. And click OK. Now watch what happens. Well, what I've done, in a sense, is I've changed some of the colors that were black, and so they're beginning to show through in a very transparent way. But the good news, the cool thing about this is you can move it. Pick up your Move tool up here and move it. Relocate it. Put it somewhere else if you want to. It will look exactly the same as doing a permanent lens flare. The difference is you are in control. Well, there you go. A movable lens flare, courtesy of a blank layer filled with black in the screen blending mode.